Alrighty, everybody, and welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Let's see what we have here today. We have 3.14. We have Eevee, Proxy, Indiana, Pez, Cloudman. Oh my goodness, do I even try to pronounce that one? Timmer. I'm just gonna go with that one, Timmer, for being a 2-month EF2 member. Lily and Haley, Chip. Hi, Chip, bye, Chip. Pete as well. Glad to have you guys all in the live stream, as well as everybody else who is watching, may not be chatting, and or anybody I did forget to welcome. I'm glad to have you guys all here today. Let's go dive right on into this. We got quite a bit to talk about, and we'll see if we can make it to 8 o'clock. I want to try to stay live here till about 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so that way we could see the new National Hurricane Center update. First, I want to actually start with the severe weather that's ongoing. Before I forget to dive into that, I want to go first to the tornado outbreak currently ongoing up here in Canada. We've had multiple tornadoes up here, potentially even multiple strong tornadoes out here in far western Ontario. If you remember a couple days ago, I mentioned that the trough ejection would be too slow to be a notable tornado threat here in the U.S., but as it continues up to the northeast, it could be an outbreak for Ontario. I mentioned that a few days ago, I believe, and you can see a couple of these had ridiculous hooks. There's a hook for you there, another hook up here. If we go back up in this area, this had a ridiculous supercell look. If we go a bit more in the future, this was a very classic mothership supercell, big supercell here. We had another one back up in this area. So we've had a lot of classic tornado debris signatures here as well. Classic supercells, and some did have, like I said, tornado debris signatures with them as well. So a lot of severe weather up there. There is an enhanced risk for severe weather today from the Storm Prediction Center in northeastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, including western Nebraska. Main threat for this is the potential for upwards of 80-mile-per-hour winds. I don't really see that notable of a threat here. I do think we could see a very isolated gust upwards of 80, but I primarily think the main threat's going to be gusty winds around 60 miles per hour and just a lot of lightning and heavy rain. I really don't see a whole need for that enhanced risk, but they did issue it just in case. I really didn't see the need for that, but they did, just in case we get some of those significant downdrafts. This one's warned for 60, and if we go up here, this one's warned for 60. So nothing significant ongoing inside the U.S. Outside the U.S., we have a tornado outbreak in Ontario, so far western Ontario. That's in, I believe that's mainly all very rural areas of Ontario. If I lose power, you'll know why. I've had a lot of thunderstorms off to my south
I did get hit by one of them right here. I got absolutely lightning striked. Absolutely lightning striked by this one storm. Frequent lightning was all over the place. Never got a picture of a bolt or even a video of a bolt, but hey, um, at least my power's still on. That's all I can ask for. I'm gonna go over here. Thank you for the donation, Avery. Much appreciated. I don't think Illinois is going to get anything. I could look. I honestly haven't looked much at the severe weather side of things today. I've primarily been looking at the tropics because I knew that was going to be the main topic of our live stream today. No, I don't see anything for Monday at the moment. I would still keep an eye on it, but I don't think we're going to see anything notable by any means on Monday. It doesn't look like much of a severe weather setup anywhere in the U.S. Now, there may be an opportunity for a brief spin-up tornado on Sunday out in Kansas, but we'll just have to wait until that day rolls around to figure out if it's going to be notable enough or not. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive right on into some model runs. Now, the NHC has not highlighted an area for tropical development at this moment. They could do it at any update. They may do it at the 8 p.m. update tonight, or they may end up doing it sometime tomorrow. But I do expect at some point we'll end up seeing an AOI from the National Hurricane Center out here, somewhere west of, most likely west of Jamaica, out in this general vicinity here, where we could see a tropical storm develop and potentially move up towards the United States. I do think the main area to watch with this is going to end up being central to southern Florida for the potential of a tropical storm, but newer model data today has kind of went all over the place, so we could be looking at a tropical storm to hurricane anywhere from Texas all the way to the New England states, according to some ensembles. I saw that yesterday. So anybody most specifically in the Gulf coastline needs to be watching this upcoming potential AOI out here in the Caribbean. I don't think it's going to end up being a northeast storm. We had some crazy ensembles, and especially the crazy GFS that ended up with a hurricane, I think in Massachusetts or somewhere. I didn't really look too closely at that. I want to see if I could find that model run. Yeah, there you go. Category 2 hurricane on September 29th, right on into Massachusetts. Coastal areas, the Carolinas get near major hurricane, and then Florida gets a near major hurricane as well. So that was your 00Z model run from yesterday, which is typically actually one of your most accurate models. However, this is looking out beyond 280 frames, so it's most likely inaccurate. If you go to your 12Z from today, you'll notice it's a completely different scenario, but it's still on the same trend of a tropical storm potentially for Florida. Our newest model run, the 18Z GFS, has actually downtrended quite a bit. It shows a tropical storm, borderline, most likely hurricane, impacting Florida. So I do think Florida is going to be the main area of interest to watch for potential impacts. However, like I said, we could see anywhere from Texas to, of course, Florida for impacts, or it could end up going into Cuba and then out to sea. There's another chance that it goes into the Yucatan Peninsula and then into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. But at the moment, I think your most likely scenario is a tropical storm somewhere between these two lines here. That's going to be the area that I watch the utmost for tropical storm potential. Is it forming kind of like Idalia did? Kind of like what Idalia did, where I think Idalia came off the coastline of the Yucatan Peninsula, if I'm not mistaken. This one's going to move off of South America, go into the Western Caribbean, and then probably, this is where your big question mark is, but it's probably going to move near Florida. We'll have to see. The Caribbean's very favorable for tropical development, and of course the Gulf of Mexico is as well. That will just be pending wind shear and dry air. There's a lot of moving parts here. We're going to have a trough ejection inside the United States. We're going to have a high pressure out here over Bermuda. You're going to have your low pressure trying to thread the needle between that, and we'll see exactly what steering currents end up setting up here. But there's a couple different scenarios that I would just keep a very, very close eye on. At the moment, we're in just monitoring mode, just watching and waiting to see what the newest model runs have, as well as if the National Hurricane Center ends up highlighting anything for tropical development. I want to go over to your European model. This is your very conservative European model. I'd be shocked if it even shows a tropical storm forming. There's your low pressure, takes it into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, and that's where your model run ends. So it kind of just stalls it out there, pretty much over the Yucatan Peninsula. That's due to a trough ejection you can see right here over the a good chunk of the United States. So that's going to be like a blocking area right there. And then you're going to, I can't really tell exactly where this would go. My best guess would it would go into the southwestern portion of the Gulf of Mexico, and then maybe go right on into Mexico. I feel like that wouldn't just go right up into the Gulf, thanks to that trough ejection. Maybe that trough would help it move up into Florida, but I don't know exactly what this European model is going to be painting here. Completely different scenario. You can see here's your GFS and here's your European. I'm paying very close attention to the overall pattern. I'm not really looking at, where the low pressure is, but I'm looking at just the difference. I can show this a little bit better if I go to like, let's see, 850 millibars. So go 240 frames out on the GFS, and you can see, of course, your low pressure here. You have a divoting trough generally right out here. Your high pressure is located generally here. Another high pressure back out in this area. Random hurricane in the main development region right there. I don't know where the heck that comes from on the GFS. Probably off of Africa. Yeah, comes off of Africa. So that's your pattern from your GFS. If we go to your European, it is, wow, like completely different. Gracious. So you have a low pressure here, actually near tropical storm here west of the Cayman Islands, or rather Cape Verde. My apologies, Cape Verde. Your big trough is over this whole portion of the U.S., and main high pressures here, I can't tell, but that's probably a high pressure right here as well. Just southeast or east of Bermuda. So really almost a complete flip-flop between the GFS and the European. The same trough, though. Both of them have a trough, and both of them have a high pressure somewhere out here. But in terms of your low pressure for your tropical storm being possible, that completely flops on the European, whereas the GFS has a hurricane off the coastline of the Carolinas. So completely different there. But the Euro also does show a tropical storm being possible west of Cape Verde. I think that's really interesting there. Let's look at our CMC model for that. Oh my goodness. Somehow I already forgot we were looking at a possible tropical storm in the Gulf. I just didn't expect to CMC. Look at that wind field, man. That is a big wind field. Am I using... Okay, I'm using 850 millibar. That's why. I thought that was 10 millibars. I was like, holy crap. Or 10 meters up. Gracious day. That surprised me. But yeah, this shows that probably wouldn't be a tropical storm, but still an area of potential concern here near Cape Verde. So we'll have to watch that over the next week or so as well. Let's go to your icon model. See if that shows... Okay, your icon model... Your icon model, is it just going to flop? Okay, it's just going to flop like the European model run there as well. I don't think that's... So that's looking like a possibility, but I don't think that's going to be your main possibility. We'll go ahead and take a look at some ensembles to determine that. So here's your GFS ensembles. We'll also look at these with weather nerds too. Oh, these are your new ones. I'm going to go to your 12Z. So, yeah, you can see a split there. See a split? So that split would probably be something more of what the European and the CMC have, where you would have a tropical storm towards, like, the central Gulf of Mexico going up like this. Whereas your GFS model run and your CMC, I believe, CMC model run have it going into Florida. So, two different tracks there, and then of course also maybe an AOI off the coastline of Africa there as well. So it looks like we're gonna have probably a few different scenarios for a possible tropical storm in the Caribbean. I did see the 18Z. We're gonna keep an eye on that. and see where that trends. I can already tell you that that's a lot less aggressive. So I think we're in more of a monitoring phase at the moment, more of a monitoring stage. We're really just going to want to watch all of our models, look for consistency, keep an eye on it. We could easily downtrend significantly, and this could just be another rain shower over the Yucatan Peninsula. So we're just going to keep a very, very close eye on it. But the main reason why I'm talking about it, it's not just because of the model runs. I was, if it was just the model runs, I would have held off on this being a full tropical live stream here. But we got this earlier today. The professionals at the Climate Prediction Center, your official source of weather information, one of your official sources, I actually didn't even see that. They actually increased the threat for a tropical system to form near Cape Verde from the 25th to October 1st. And they have I guess you consider this a high threat because this is low, this is medium, and this is a high. So they have high probabilities for a tropical depression or tropical storm to form from the 25th to the 1st. That's the 25th of September to the 1st of October, just barely to the southwest of Cuba. And you can see they also have a medium chance around that as well. And they do have that low probability going all the way up to the coastal areas of the Carolinas, back out towards Mexico, and then, of course, back south towards like Jamaica, Central America. So they're not going to update this until like September 30th. So we're not going to get another one of these outlooks for a very, very long time. They update it about once a week, I believe. Or no, not the 30th, my bad, the 24th. It's always the day before this right here, day before this date. So September 24th, we're going to get a new outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. But anyways, like I said, I think we'll see a tropical storm develop, tropical depression or tropical storm somewhere in here. Where it goes from there is a question mark. That's why you don't see these high-end probabilities extending towards Florida, or you don't see these high-end probabilities extending into Mexico, because they're very uncertain about that. It's going to be a question mark on exactly where it goes from there. All they know is that this area is favorable for tropical development towards the end of September and probably into a very small portion of the beginning of October as well. But what happens in that area, where it goes, that's going to be your question mark. But like I said, I do think your most likely case scenario is a system going into Florida. I don't think it's going to be strong. At the moment, I wouldn't get into intensity, but I don't think we're going to end up with a ridiculous hurricane out of this. I think a lot of our model runs are going way too aggressive. But we're going to really have to just wait until we get closer. There's your 18Z. This is your 18Z GFS from yesterday. We don't want to look at that. Y'all already saw that looping in the background at the beginning. But this is your 18Z GFS for today. You can see your tropical low pressure right there. It goes in between the Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba, moves into the northeastern Gulf of Mexico, strengthens into a borderline hurricane into pretty much right where Idalia hit. The GFS really shows kind of like a weaker Idalia here. I'm saying that, the reason why I'm comparing this with Idalia is because I think our general setup here is what we saw with Idalia last year. And I know other people were comparing this to Ian of, was that 2022? I don't think this is going to end up being another Ian by any means. It's just way too far out to tell, to see for certain. I mean, we're only 180 hours out at this frame, where the GFS has a tropical storm forming, which is why I'm comfortable enough talking about a tropical storm forming around Cuba into the Western Caribbean. And where it goes from there, like I said, I think the most likely scenario is into Florida, then back out to sea. But there's other scenarios. I think the oh gracious day, is it the European ensembles were showing a Texas potentially a Texas landfall. So yeah, these don't go out as far as I'd want them to. But you do see your ensembles here, and thanks to your trough ejection, that would pull it closer up towards like Texas, Louisiana. But that's at the end of the ensembles, so too far out. But your main Euro batch here of ensembles take a tropical storm I mean, right into the panhandle of Florida, right into the panhandle of Florida. So that's why I believe personally the most likely scenario is a tropical storm into Florida. Somewhere generally in this area forms somewhere out here where the CPC has their risk and then moves up into Florida. In terms of intensity, I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to say anything more than a tropical storm possible because it's going to vary a lot. It is going to vary a lot. We're going to see this thing. Holy cow. So that's gonna go. Gracious day. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna. So proxy just, I believe that is proxy. The one from Ohio, our greatest supporter, just tipped $50 into the Streamlabs donation. So you won't see anything pop up here in the YouTube chat. She put that right into Streamlabs. That is greatly appreciated. So I don't think YouTube's going to get a cut out of that, to be honest with you. But that is greatly appreciated, Proxy. That's a $50 donation. I just saw it pop up out of the corner of my eye. Also, thank you for the $5 donation, AV. I also saw that. I like I said, I wouldn't be worrying about any tornado threat in Illinois. I'd just be monitoring it. Proxy said, thanks for all your helpful streams, TRG. You're welcome. Thank you for the 50. Much appreciated. Okay, so again, that's really appreciated, Proxy. And yeah, we're gonna continue to just keep a very close eye on these ensembles. The one I'm gonna be most interested in is the European. The Europeans typically very conservative here. And that's a pretty good group there. I mean, very clearly, very clearly, this kind of has two scenarios, but they have the same outcome. So one group of ensembles have a tropical storm in the Western Caribbean, and that moves into Florida. The other one has a tropical storm forming. It moves as just a wave, moves in as a wave into the Yucatan Peninsula, and then forms into a tropical storm as it leaves the Yucatan Peninsula, and then ends up as a tropical storm or hurricane into Florida. So two different tracks, but still the same outcome. You can still see pretty much exactly the same outcome between this blob of ensembles here and then the next blob of ensembles there. So that is far out, though. I don't, you guys can't really see it, but there you go. I mean, all the way out to when, quote, landfall would be on these ensembles. You're looking at almost near 300 hours out, and that's just going to get very inaccurate. That's just extremely inaccurate. I wouldn't be listening that far out. However, it's a good signal. It is a really good signal. We've had this on the models for probably near a week, I'd say, but the signal is beginning to get stronger and stronger. And the CPC's highlighted a risk, which is the reason why I decided to do a whole stream for it. I'm very careful about calling these things out far in advance unless the National Hurricane Center is calling it out or the CPC. Also, another reason, let me show you this. The reason why I'm also talking about Florida so much as opposed to other states. Look at your wind risk from the Climate Prediction Center, and what do you see? You see a slight risk for high winds out here in central and southern Florida. That is in direct correlation to the potential for a tropical storm. You look at your precipitation. They already have a moderate threat for rainfall with a slight risk around that for Florida. That is in direct correlation to a tropical system. And you could also look at your temperature outlook for the day 8 through 14 timeframe. That's September 25th through October 1st. They have a well above average chance for above average precipitation in the southeastern U.S. That's also in direct correlation to a tropical system being possible. So I think the CPC is very confident. It seems like they're very confident. If we could switch over to our severe weather website, that is College Dew page. I want to show you guys what it seems like the CPC is very confident about here. It appears that they are quite confident in a trough ejection swinging into the central U.S. here and acting as a very clear steering current for this upcoming tropical system. And if we get that, then that's literally a perfect aim right into Florida. That is a perfect aim right into Florida, maybe as far west as Alabama. If we look at our ensembles, though, there's not a whole lot of, not really a whole lot of confidence in that happening. The time frame that we're looking at for like a tropical system would be around the 26th ish, and you can see this is relatively not really looking like much of a trough here on your ensembles. So I wouldn't lock this into a potential Florida system, even though the CPC already has a moderate threat for flooding and a slight risk for high winds. I wouldn't be locking it in so soon. Models shift very, very frequently. I mean, geez, just with what was its name? Francine, the one that made landfall in Louisiana. That went from a potential hurricane, maybe even a major hurricane in the Caribbean, all the way to literally just a tropical wave with some rain showers in the Caribbean in the matter of like a day or two. We had a massive downtrend with that system. And then out of nowhere, it did a big uptrend in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. So I'm going to be writing this off completely. Like the CPC just seems to, they seem to already be quite confident in that. Yes, I did see Proxy. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. That is greatly appreciated. I did see, let me see who got that, who I recognize. Storm got that. And Michael got that as well. There's been a lot of talk about this. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I actually haven't seen too much hype around it. I'm not hype around it. Not even gonna lie, like I think I saw one video that was hyping it up to be a major hurricane in the Central Gulf, but I haven't seen a whole lot about this. It seems like some people or most people are going to be a little bit less aggressive with the thumbnails. Gracious day, what I did sounding in the middle of the Gulf, so yeah, like I said, very clear between your two main ensembles, your European ensembles and your GFS ensembles. Your GFS are very aggressive, but your Euro ensembles are still just as confident. Of a tropical storm, maybe a hurricane, but like I said, I don't really want to jump on that bus just yet. Impacting Florida, and some of these are faster too. You can see here, September 24th, some of these ensembles already have a tropical storm south of Florida, whereas another batch of ensembles have it over Jamaica. And if we bring this out to the 26th, another batch has it out here in the Western Gulf. So it doesn't seem like the GFS ensembles are locking in a good time frame here either. We're just generally going to be watching from like the 23rd of September all the way to the end of September. It could be anywhere in that time frame. Oh, 18Z Euro? I don't have a site that loads that in really fast like you might. I wonder if your nav gem goes out that far. Nope. But yeah, like I said, just make sure that you are keeping a close eye on this. There's no reason to panic or get too worried about this system. We're in that watching phase. It is 180 hours out, which that's the reason why I've gotten concerned about this quickly, is it's not that far out. If we were looking at the end of the GFS model run, 384 hours out, heck no, I wouldn't be talking about this right now. But this is, I mean, the GFS has a tropical storm forming possibly as soon as September 23rd. So, that's why I'm really going to be watching these models very, very closely. And thank you for tuning in, Lily. Much appreciated. That is greatly appreciated that you came on in here, and I'm glad you could get a membership. Just get Pivotal. Okay, Catman, if you have a free $200, I will gladly get Pivotal. I kind of can't use it unless I get unless I pay for it, and I don't really want to put resources into sites like that when I could have nearly just as good sites like Tropical Tidbits. If not, I think Tropical Tidbits is better for tropical weather. Yes, you could do a trial, but that trial doesn't allow you to share it with YouTube. I'll go look at it, and that's not your Ensemble, that's your deterministic European model run, which only goes out 90 frames. I don't expect that to show, like, anything. I'd be blown away if that shows anything. Within 90 frames, I mean, the low pressure probably won't even be south of Jamaica. It's barely going to be moving off the coastline of South America in 90 frames out here. If we could get our vorticity blob, that might be able to help here. 700 vorticity, see if we can find it. We'll backtrace this. So there's your vorticity blob. Let's go 90 frames out here. So in 90 frames, it's going to be somewhere. Okay, it would be somewhere south of Jamaica, just barely off the coastal areas of northwestern South America. And then you could follow this blob, follow that blob throughout the rest of this GFS model run. Now, this is a deterministic run, so it's going to change literally in 5 hours. But it does take a tropical storm, borderline hurricane into Florida. You can see very clearly, very, very clearly, your trough ejection out here in Texas, which acts like a blocking wall here. So you essentially have a wall that is forcing this thing. It's going to force it into this steering pattern here. You also have a high pressure, so you're not going to have like a sharp arrow here to push this out to sea. It's going to be more of a gradual push with that high pressure, something like that. So that's going to steer it anywhere on this particular model run from Alabama to Florida. And because you're high pressure and low pressure, it's exactly where you see on these frames. Your high pressure, low pressure, they're not too close. It's going to lead it into probably central to northwestern Florida. And then watch, I bet this is going to go almost over the Appalachians here. And then see how it goes around that high pressure, and that high pressure actually gets pushed more to the south, all the way down here. Look at how far that high pressure sags south-southwestward. It goes from all the way up here, all the way down to the Yucatan Peninsula in the matter of just a few, like a 2 or 3 days. Look at that. Watch it, follow it. High pressure starts here, moves, books it. It books it southwest. Let me go to IEM bot real fast. And voila. Voila. We got a lemon. We got a lemon. 20% chance in the Northwestern Caribbean. Literally as we are talking about it. Literally as we're talking about it. Also, wouldn't be shocked to see them highlight a 20% chance out here sometime tomorrow with that. It looks like we might see a spin up out there too. But there you go. There's your 20% chance. We are literally talking about this system, and as we're talking about it, they literally just tagged it. An area of low pressure could form this weekend over the Western Caribbean. Therefore, slow development of this system is possible through early next week, while the system slowly moves north or northwestward over the Northwestern Caribbean Sea. So they are saying it moves north or northwestward, which is true because it's going to move northwest, and then it could continue that northwestward motion or start to turn sharply to the north. But I want to go read their full discussion here. Let's see if I can find it. 21 UTC. That's a 5 o'clock update there. I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, there we go. I don't think they did a 5 o'clock update, so I don't know why it even brought me there. Let's see here. I just want to see if they added anything else to their discussion that may be of noteworthy. Nah, nothing else. Also, what was Tropical Storm Gordon? That could still reform later on this week into early next week. A lot of models have that reforming, so wouldn't be shocked to see that reform. I'm pretty sure it'd still get the name Gordon. I'm like 90% sure that if it reforms, it's just going to still be Gordon. I don't think they'd name it a different name. All right, let me see. Give me Monopoly money. I don't know if I don't know if they'll take that. I don't think they'll take that. But yeah, there's your new AOI out there. Exactly where I said it would be, too. Exactly where I said it would be. That's exactly where I thought they'd put it, and they did. Um, and we'll definitely need to watch that. That is going to climb. I can guarantee that probability is very slowly going to climb. It probably won't do a jump from like 20% to 80%, but it's probably going to go today. It's obviously 20%. Tomorrow they might increase it slightly, but as we get closer to that time frame, they're going to continue to increase that 7-day time frame. And then eventually, once we're very close, they'll increase that 48-hour chance of formation. There's a sounding I pulled over the southwestern Gulf. So, yeah, notice this AOI also they don't have it like, it's not like aimed directly at Florida. It's too early to say anything about that. Their outlooks go 7 days out. Now if they did 14-day outlooks, it'd just be ridiculously inaccurate. That's why your model runs fail so often. I mean, even 7 days out, that's still pushing it for a solid forecast. But a lot of the times the NHC is correct with that. They've done really good this year, and they did great last year. Let me see. Okay. All right, back over to your 18Z GFS. I want to go actually to your 12Z GFS. Believe it or not, I want to check this. So there's what's eventually most likely going to become a renamed Tropical Storm Gordon out there in the middle of the Atlantic. There's your AOI that's just newly been designated by the National Hurricane Center. And then that's your other area that I think the NHC is eventually going to highlight. Let's go and check between some models and ensembles. So your GFS, we already know, develops that into a tropical storm. Your European model run develops this into... you can see it tries to push it into a tropical storm on that northern edge with a millibar of 1004. So it attempts at a tropical storm on your European model. CMC model run, it just really looks like it's a wave. It doesn't really get going on the CMC. Icon model doesn't go out far enough. European ensembles, see if those develop it. Not the best development by any means. We're looking for more of those really dark oranges. This is just a very broad area of yellow. So definitely not the best there. And I bet your GFS ensembles are going to be very aggressive. Heck yeah, look at that. Orange blobs everywhere. Orange blobs everywhere on your GFS ensembles. So yeah, we'll continue to watch that. But yeah, I do think they'll highlight that too with probably a low end probability risk there. Seems like we had some gust tornadoes in Colorado just moments ago. Yeah, that's your new GFS ensembles as well. I want to go back to severe weather just quickly, see if there's anything upgraded here. That is a SIG severe now. Southeastern Colorado. Texas is starting to pop off too. Look at that. Texas is the one with the most significant severe weather right now. 3 sig severes. Still anything up here in Canada? Yep, look at that. Still got an area rotation in Canada right there. Embedded supercell. So they still have that warned. This is probably about the most normal polygon you're going to see from Canada. Environmental Canada. I forgot what they're called up here. But, I mean, that's not like a massive warning. It's still pretty big, but it's not, you know, very large. I feel like the issue way larger than that polygon, so. I don't know why you ask those questions, Evie. I get that you want to be weather aware and know about severe weather, but saying if there's going to be a high risk for severe weather, that's off of the SPC and the Storm Prediction Center. You are unlucky if you even get that once a year. It's difficult to come by a high risk even once a year. Where is this? Oh, yeah, there you go. We had a very tight couplet of rotation. That is another tornado warning. That is a United States tornado warning. That is a United States tornado warning right there that you just barely heard in the background. I do not have my my beep beep program up, but there you go. That is a tornado warning up here in northeastern Montana. You may be like, what? I didn't expect that today. Well, guess what? The SPC did. They got a 2% chance for tornadoes up here. They have a 2% chance for tornadoes up here, and that is a very unique storm right there. Yeah, there you go. Look higher up in tilt. There's your area of rotation. We got to look over the mountains. So from ground level, it looks, or from near ground level, it looks terrible. That's because you're actually looking at a mountain. So go to tilt 2, you'll see that better. I wonder if we could see the same from here. Yeah, look at that. Definitely some notching happening right there. That is like a, I think this looks more like a southern hemisphere tornadic storm. Because this is like a backwards supercell. This is like murdering me right here. It looks just so weird. Your hook echo, normally your hook wraps around like this, right? This one is, I don't know. It just looks so weird to me. It's actually normal. It's actually normal, but it just looks so weird. It looks like it belongs in the southern hemisphere or something. It doesn't look like a normal supercell to me. I thought that was an important text. It was not. But yeah, we do have a tornado warning now. I'm not going to switch to the scene because we're not doing active coverage on that. I'll go ahead and check how many people are in that tornado warning for those who may be curious. 144 people. That's still a decent amount for up here in northeastern Montana. Severe thunderstorm watch will be possible in about an hour as well. So we'll see if they issue a severe watch up here, and 144 people inside that new tornado warning. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, share the stream with your family, friends, social media, help spread weather awareness. We're going to continue on here. I don't know if we're going to be live till 8:30. The National Hurricane Center did their update a near 30 minutes early, so I don't know if we're going to be continuing our stream past 8 p.m. The only reason I was going to go longer is to see that update, but they already did the update early. All right, let's go back over to, we're going to go to Weather Nerds now to look at our individual ensemble plots. Let me go ahead and zoom this in for you guys. All right, here's our European ensembles. This is your 12Z European ensembles. And yeah, you can see there's only one area that you have some agreement in, and it's in between these two areas here. Everywhere else, I mean, you have a couple ensembles this way, you have a few going out this way, you have some going up this way, some going up this way. So there's only really one area with decent ensembles, and it's definitely not the best agreement. It is not the best agreement by any means. So there's still a big old question mark on if this is going to be able to head towards Florida, if it's going to go through the Yucatan Peninsula and then maybe be Mexico or southern Texas, or shoot, if it's not even going to develop out there. But there is a really good chance for it. The conditions are favorable. The steering pattern looks to still be, from what I can tell, most likely scenario is going to be into Florida. It's still a little bit far out, but we have the Climate Prediction Center already issuing risks out there. The CPC also issued a risk out there in the Western Caribbean. The NHC just recently introduced an AOI out there as well. So we're slowly starting to get there. There's your GFS ensembles, and even those are still slightly more messy. A bit of a clearer path here, and most of these impact southern Florida. But you could see the spread here is anywhere from the Bahamas all the way back up towards the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. So still big spread there as well. Like I said, still kind of the same as what the Euro has, a potential for a more western Gulf of Mexico storm, and then the potential for, of course, the Florida, a more Florida storm there. Is that it? That's it. I'll give me just a moment. Okay. That's what I was waiting for. So yeah, we're gonna just continue to watch these models and ensembles, and we have good agreement right now, but I'd like to see the European get more on board. I feel like the European's not fully on board just yet with all of our other models and some ensembles. The Euro still wants a potential solid westward push there. It's going to depend on that trough, and I can tell you this, that trough is also a question mark too. So there's going to be a lot of factors that we're going to need to watch here. And we'll see. More zoomed out view of your European ensembles. There's what's probably going to attempt at reforming into Gordon. You're obviously can tell where your main area to watch is here. Very, very clearly want to watch this area for potential tropical development. Most likely scenarios it's moving into Florida, but there's also scenarios where this could head towards Louisiana, and another low-end scenario where it could head towards like Mexico, maybe Texas. Also see those other ensembles on the far right side of your screen for our other possible tropical system moving off of Africa, moving into the main development region. But main area to watch is definitely going to be here. But there's going to be quite a bit of question marks after this thing gets towards the Yucatan Peninsula, Cuba. That's where your question marks start. But still, like I said, CPC's issuing outlooks there already for flash flooding and as well as risk of high winds. So it's just going to be another watch and wait. That's all that weather is. That's all that weather is. Weather's all just watch and wait. But hopefully now we're at least aware that there's a possibility for a tropical storm. Like I said, I don't want to jump too much on the hype train of the GFS model and start saying hurricane for Florida. But I do believe we could be looking at a tropical storm for Florida. Especially with the CPC already issuing those risks prematurely there. I am not ready for winter, I could tell you that. I want snow, but I'm not ready for winter. No, this is not going to hit Charlotte. I can't say that the leftovers of it won't hit Charlotte, but a direct hit for Charlotte is impossible because you're inland. So, is there the possibility for some rain out of this? Yeah, maybe some gusty winds. Probably at least a chance. It just depends on the steering current here. Spam. I denied a call. See you later, 3.14. Man, I wish there was a way I could talk to you off of stream, 3.14. But yeah, we're probably going to wrap it up here soon. I just want to go ahead and reiterate over everything. For those who may just be tuning in, I like to do kind of a, like Storm, you got a membership from Proxy, but I like to do a conclusion of our streams in terms of like going over everything we talked about in the span of just like 2 minutes. Main ordeal is we're going to be watching an AOI that has just been highlighted from the National Hurricane Center out here, just to the southwest of Cuba, east of the Yucatan Peninsula. There's a lot of uncertainty, but at the moment, it looks like a tropical storm could potentially head up towards Florida. There's other chances where this could go into the Yucatan Peninsula and then into Texas or Mexico. Another opportunity where it could be closer to like Louisiana or Alabama. But at the moment, your most likely case scenario is a system going into Florida. In terms of the intensity, we're just going to have to wait. We're probably about 180 hours out from potentially seeing a tropical depression or a tropical storm spin up here in the Western Caribbean. Once we get to that point, we'll know more. So, our main live stream in terms of when we're going to start working out a lot of these uncertainties, we're going to go ahead and see what day that could be. We should know a heck of a lot more Monday. Monday, we should know a whole lot more. What is it, Tuesdays? Today Tuesday or Monday? Are we looking at a week away? Okay, today's Tuesday, so 6 days from now is when we should know a lot more about what this system's going to do. But in terms of future live streams, I honestly don't think I will have a live stream tomorrow. We'll probably take tomorrow off. Minimal severe weather. There's really not going to be a whole lot of new things to talk about tomorrow, so if I am available, I'll be back here Thursday. I don't think there's a reason to be live tomorrow. But yeah, let me go ahead and turn on the tropical weather outlook here from the NHC so you guys can see that. So there's your AOI from the National Hurricane Center. They just highlighted this at the 8 o'clock update. You see a 20% chance for the next 7 days of a tropical depression or storm forming. Like I said, I think the most likely case scenario is a depression or tropical storm in the Western Caribbean and then tries to move into Florida. There's a full-fledged severe weather outbreak happening right now in Texas and Kansas. You guys see all those warnings? Let's pull up our main severe weather software here in terms of global radar. Wait for those warnings to pop up here. 72 mile per hour wind report right there. Do my warnings not want to pop up? What? There you go. Yeah, look at that. There's a full severe weather outbreak happening. We've got significant severes in a full line out here from Texas into Kansas. That enhanced risk should have been a lot more south. But that is a lot of significant severe weather happening right now. Pretty much all of this is going to be damaging winds, if not all of it. We could have some isolated, very small hail and significant damaging wind gusts, potentially upwards of 80 miles per hour will be possible here. We also have a tornado warning in effect up here in far northeastern Montana, as well as a few in Canada. This one in Montana, I'd like to see it once more. Does look like that area of rotation broke up very, very quickly here. But it's still generally going to have some rotation with it right here where that hook is. Okay, the Canada warning here. Up here in Ontario, actually. So I do believe we did experience a tornado outbreak up here in Ontario today. It seems like we had, at least, from what I saw, we could have had at least 2 or 3 significant tornadoes. So we'll see what they survey out there in Western Ontario. I don't know much about the surveying or weather service up here in Canada, but I'm sure they'll go out and survey. We had multiple classic supercells and velocity couplets that were very much evident of potential strong tornadoes, so I'm sure they'll survey some places out there. How to make a sounding? Did I miss something in the chat? What did I miss here? Hello, Carson. You're joining right towards the end of the stream. Thursday looks like a coverage-worthy day. It probably won't be. It probably won't be. These enhanced risks for damaging winds, I just don't feel the need to cover them at the moment. But yeah, Thursday could be. Oh my Nam 3K. What? Did y'all forget to tell me about this? Why was I left out of this? What the absolute heck? What in the tornado outbreak is the Nam 3K doing? What the heck? Wow. What? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we gotta end the stream, but I think I know what I'm gonna be doing Thursday. Gracious, that's also the rap model too. Looks like a potent severe weather outbreak or a tornado threat could be possible out there in Minnesota. I will watch that very, 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 very closely. If I'm available, I will talk about that in tomorrow's live stream, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm not going to have much time to do the music, so I'm probably just going to ramble on here for a little bit longer and have, like, just a couple seconds of the music left. I want to go check... I'm going to go check severe weather probabilities real quick. The good news is that wouldn't hit you, Envy. It wouldn't hit you. Or Evie, my bad. It doesn't seem like that high of a likelihood at the moment, but we'll have to watch that very, very, very closely, y'all. Does the GFS paint something like that significant? No, not at the moment. The HRRR is too. I'm probably going to have to make a Twitter post about that. I'm going to make a Twitter post about that here in just a bit. Because I just realized that was... Wow. That might be a very potent outbreak on Thursday, y'all. I will most likely have to be here. So I'll plan on a stream Thursday. Hopefully I will be available. I can't make any promises. Cannot make any promises. We'll just see. I'll keep you guys updated the best I can in the community post tab. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. I'll still be watching this significant severe weather outbreak happening in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Just make sure that you guys are hyper weather aware out there. If you're inside one of those severe thunderstorm warnings, just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows, and you will be perfectly fine. How can you end with there is a tour? Well, there's a nice, good old button that says end stream. That's how I can end. It's up in the mountain range, so there's really not much I could do. Just, we already know there's a tornado warning up there, so... Anyways, y'all, stay safe. Watch the severe weather and the tropics. I will see you guys at some point, hopefully later on this week. And I really hope I'll be able to cover Thursday. We'll just see what happens. Thank you, Mods, for modding chat. Thank you, Proxy, for the donation, as well as Evie. And I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Watch severe weather in the tropics. Goodbye. Wow, that was a very long song right there. Stay safe, watch the severe weather in the tropics. I'll see you guys in my next live stream. Have a great rest of your night.